Welcome to the Mindful Practice Podcast, a space for physicians navigating burnout, identity shifts, and career change without pressure or judgment. I'm your host, Dr. Bertina Hooks, a board-certified internal medicine physician, coach, and writer. Here we talk honestly about what it means to build a sustainable career and a life beyond medicine and survival. Before we get started, I wanted to share something important. The Mindful Practice Podcast is now part of the Pinnacle Podcast Network, which means you can earn free CE and CME credit just by listening to these conversations. This is about making physician education more accessible, more practical, and actually aligned with how we grow in our careers. I'm Dr. Bertina Hooks, and this is where high-performing physicians come to rethink how they practice, lead, and live. You can find details on how to claim your CE or CME credit in the show notes. Now let's begin the next episode. Hello, and welcome back to the Mindful Practice Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Bertina Hooks. Over the last several episodes, we've talked about burnout, identity, money, boundaries, and reinvention. But today we're talking about something deeper: success. Because if you do not redefine success, you will recreate burnout, even in a new career. You can change jobs. You can pivot specialties. You can reduce your hours. You can diversify income. But if your definition of success remains unchanged, you will eventually feel the same pressures again. So today, we're asking a harder question. What does success actually mean now? Not when you were 22, not when you matched into residency, not when you signed your first contract. Right now. The original definition of success. Let's be honest. The original definition of success in medicine is very clear. High GPA, high MCAT scores, a competitive medical school, a competitive residency and/or fellowship, prestige, income, title, leadership roles, publications, recognition, achievement stacking, and early in life, achievement works. It creates momentum. It builds opportunity. It feels validating. But achievement as the sole metric has limits. Because achievement never finishes. There's always another level, another promotion, another income bracket, another leadership role, another comparison. If success is always more, it becomes endless escalation. And endless escalation eventually becomes exhaustion and burnout. When success stops feeling good, there is a moment, and many physicians know it, when you reach a milestone and feel nothing. You match, you become an attending, you hit a certain salary, you get promoted, but instead of joy, you feel pressure, expectation, responsibility, fatigue. That is not because you are ungrateful. It is because your nervous system is overloaded. And because achievement without alignment does not sustain fulfillment. Achievement without alignment does not sustain fulfillment. Alignment is different than achievement. Personal reflection. There was a time when success meant endurance, working the most, handling the most, seeing the most patience, discharging the most patience, being the reliable one, saying yes instead of saying no, pushing through. That version of success was about proving intelligence, proving competence, proving strength, proving belonging. But proving is exhausting because it never ends. At some point, success had to shift from proving to protecting, from achieving to aligning, from impressing to sustaining. That shift is not weakness, it's maturity. And for me, redefining success meant recognizing that endurance alone could no longer be the standard. There were seasons when being the reliable one, the one who could always absorb more, looked admirable externally, but internally, it was very costly. The cost of old success. Let's examine the old definition of success. If success equals the highest income possible, the highest prestige possible, the maximum output or productivity possible, then what gets sacrificed? Sleep, health, family presence, creativity, emotional bandwidth, friendships, peace. We don't calculate those costs early, but they accumulate. And burnout is often not from failure. It's from overachieving under the wrong definition. What alignment actually means. Alignment is quieter than achievement. Alignment asks, does this work protect my health? Does this schedule fit my life? Does this role reflect my values? Does this income support stability without destroying me? Does this environment respect my boundaries? Alignment does not always look impressive. It looks sustainable. And that's the key. Just before I transitioned into non-clinical medicine, I was working as a full-time hospitalist. And although I was achieving high productivity, patient satisfaction scores, income, achievements, other achievements, the work was not aligned with me. And it was sacrificing my health. It did not reflect my values. The income didn't support stability as I defined it, where I wanted to have more time with my daughter, with my friends and family, where I wanted more time to enjoy hobbies such as traveling, cooking, gardening, going to movies. The environment also didn't respect my boundaries. If I said no, that I couldn't cover a call shift, or I couldn't be available for a patient because I needed to pick up my daughter from school or from daycare. Alignment doesn't always look impressive, but it is sustainable. And when I decided to pivot into a career that was more sustainable and aligned with my values, that's when I really saw how my achievements were aligned with my life. And that is the true definition of success. As I continue these conversations, I am also preparing for the release of my upcoming memoir, Fire to Freedom, a journey of transformation, renewal, and resilience, which captures many of the life experiences, challenges, and transitions that shaped my journey. I'll be sharing more in the months ahead, but this podcast and that book are deeply connected. Success as a multidimensional model. Instead of one metric, consider 5 different metrics: financial stability, physical health, emotional sustainability, autonomy, and meaning. Now ask yourself, if I score each from 1 to 10 right now, what do I see? Some physicians are a 10 in income, but a 2 in health. Some are a 9 in prestige, but a 3 in autonomy. Old success focuses on one metric, but mature success balances multiple metrics. I would say that when I was a hospitalist working full-time, I felt that income was about a 10 because I was making a lot of income, but my health was really a 2 to 3. And that's because I could not carve out time to see my doctors or do physicals or even get routine screening like a mammogram or a colonoscopy. As far as autonomy, during my full-time hospital stays, even though I did have a more flexible schedule, 7 on and 7 off, still there was lack of autonomy, so I would rate it about a 3. Prestige, I would rate about an 8 to 9. Emotional sustainability, I would rate probably at a 4 to 5. Because my work was very fulfilling, but it wasn't sustainable. A lot of times I would have to work longer hours. I would have to be on call for longer periods of time in order to make sure that patients were taken care of. And this caused my physical health and my personal life to suffer. Now, doing a non-clinical career, which is a hybrid of utilization management, medical expert work, and telemedicine, I feel that success based on these 5 metrics is much higher. I have more meaning in my work, more autonomy, more sustainability, more physical health and rest, and more financial stability. And that makes my work fulfilling and sustainable. And it makes me happy to do the work that I do because I'm still making a difference as a physician. Now let's do some reflective prompts or questions. Ask yourself, if no one else were watching, how would I define success? If comparison disappeared, what would I choose? If my health became the primary constraint, How would I structure my work? If I had to design success around sustainability, what would change? Think about those questions and answer them honestly. The fear of downshifting. Many physicians fear redefining success because it can look like earning less, working less, stepping out of hierarchy, choosing flexibility over prestige, and externally, that can be misunderstood, but internally, it can be freeing. I think physicians often underestimate how uncomfortable it can feel when success starts looking different than what your peers expect. Because medicine often rewards visible markers such as title, volume, hierarchy, while quieter forms of success may not always be immediately recognized. And what I mean by that is that you can still be successful in your personal and professional life as long as your values and goals are aligned. So, if you are a working woman who is a full-time clinician and a mother and a spouse, being a successful mother and spouse and being there for your children is success. I wouldn't trade anything in the world for the time I now have with my daughter to shape her development and growth as she becomes a young adult. And there's not any amount of money that could be paid that would make me feel more fulfilled than where I am right now. Because I'm home for every homework assignment, for every dinner, for every school activity. I can be present for my family. And to me, that is success. And another definition of success professionally is that I'm growing as a leader, as an executive, as an administrator. And that's important because I'm shaping not only how other patients are getting adequate care, but I'm also helping mentor future physicians or physicians earlier in their career. And that is rewarding as well. Redefining success does not mean shrinking your ambition. It just means redirecting it. Ambition towards health, ambition towards impact, ambition towards longevity, and legacy. Success in seasons. Success at 30 is not the same as success at age 45. Success during residency is not success during parenthood or marriage. Success during illness is not success during full capacity. If your definition of success is rigid, you will feel like you are failing in natural seasons of life. But if your definition of success is adaptive, you will feel aligned. Success and money. This connects back to our financial episode. Income is not the enemy, but income alone is not success. Ask yourself, is this income supporting my life or consuming it? There is a number where additional income increases stress more than satisfaction. That number is different for everyone. It's important for you to determine your number. Success and impact. Impact also changes. Early career impact may mean volume or productivity. Late career impact may mean mentorship or leadership or writing or affecting healthcare policy or innovation or advising students. Impact evolves as you evolve. You do not have to impact the world the same way at every stage. Here is my personal declaration. For me, success now includes protected health, intentional schedule, intellectual stimulation, meaningful mentorship, financial stability, creative space, emotional sustainability, not constant proving, no endless output, no comparison. That evolution did not happen overnight. It happened in stages, through reflection, through difficult seasons, through reassessing priorities, and through accepting that what I value now is not identical to what I valued earlier in my career. When I was early in my career, money, income, prestige really mattered to me. But now, later in my career, being there for my family, protecting my health as I get older, mentoring and advising others, and leadership are more valuable in my career. This required collapse, reflection, modeling, boundaries, reconstruction, and most of all, the permission to evolve. Permission. You are allowed to redefine success, even if colleagues don't understand, even if your family questions it, even if your former self would be surprised. Growth often looks confusing from the outside, but it feels steady and sustainable on the inside. In closing, if you are in a season of reinvention, do not rush to build something new without first redefining success. Otherwise, you will build a new structure on an old foundation, and old foundations create old outcomes. Success is not achievement stacking. It is alignment. Alignment with your health. Alignment with your values. Alignment with your season of life. Alignment with sustainability. You are not behind. You are evolving. And evolution is success. I'll see you in the next episode. If this conversation resonated with you today, there's now an added benefit. You can earn free CE or CME credit by listening to this episode through the Learn at Pinnacle app. This is a part of a larger shift towards more accessible real-world physician education, and I'm proud to be part of it. You'll find all the details in the show notes, including how to access the app and claim your credit. And if this episode helped you, share it with a colleague who needs to hear it. I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you for listening to the Mindful Practice Podcast. If today's episode resonated with you, you can find free burnout and career clarity resources at pinnaclebusinessacademy.org. And if this podcast supported you, Please consider subscribing or sharing it with a colleague who might need it. Remember, you are more than your white coat. You are not broken, and you are allowed to evolve. Until next time, take care of yourself, not just your role.